Hi, hello everyone, particularly to our professor, Dr. Genesis Lee R. Tahoy. Today, I am tasked to report on the topic 3, which is performance management. Actually, we are 3 in Group 7, Mr. Oslek Calubag and Miss Jinky Alegria. Focusing on my report on performance management, it is said that it is a continuing process of communication between managers and employees with mutual goal of accomplishing the strategic goals of the company. So take note of the word or of these keywords, continuing process of communication. So there should be a constant communication or an interaction between the employer and the employees in an organization so that the goals to be accomplished will be met sooner or later. Performance management Performance management is an ongoing process of communication between a supervisor and an employee. These occur in a year which supports the accomplishing of the different vision and mission of the entire organization. So, what a question, why is performance management important in human resource? Simply, it is a continuous performance management that allows managers to see when employees go and beyond, whether they are within the track or they are already overlapping their activities or their tasks assigned to them. Two, it helps them track progress against goals and personal development. So, um, tracking the progress is like monitoring them day to day or every now and then. Number three, it makes informed decisions about additional compensation, such as pay hikes or pay rises or bonuses. So, the performance of an employee or the employees in an organization or teachers in a school or university or college also is also appraised or rewarded through uh, high salary increases or bonuses depending on the performance that they have had in a particular year. Performance management is performance measurement, information that affect positive change in organizational culture, systems, processes by helping set agreed upon performance goals, allocating and prioritizing resources, informing managers to either confirm or change current policy or program directions that would be meet. Uh, yes, in monitoring or in managing the performance of an employee or employees in an organization is also the basis whether the organization, the one involved in the changing of the policies or the changing of the rules or what how we call it, it depends upon how the employees perform and what are the additional benefits or incentives for them granted by their managers or employers. It is to meet those things, and it follows that managing performance involves also a cycle of clarifying school or business goals. So whether we review the different goals or visions of the vision or mission of the school, whether we are in the right track or we are in accordance to it, or whether we are hitting it or targeting it. So that's why monitoring or performance management is also needed, and thus it agrees to individual objectives and standards of performance. The importance of looking beyond performance measurement into performance management is supported by several authors. Okay, these are the following. The monitoring performance. We check our employers or teachers every day, done by the school heads or other in charge of the administrative staff. So identifying the areas that need attention. So whether there are things to be changed, or whether there are complaints to be attended to, or whether there are things to be fixed upon. Number 3 is enhancing motivation. Okay, we motivate, of course, our fellow employees, or the employers motivate their employees, and of course the school head motivate their teachers. Every now and then it's very important, so that they are always willing or interested to work with, or they have a good environment or working environment for that matter. Number 4 is improving communications. And number 5 is strengthening accountability. What are our accountabilities in our organization? So this is very much important, so that we can have a good performance. And our managers for our performance would be very happy, or would be very inspired by what we are doing for the company, or for the organization, or for the school, university for that matter. Performance management in education. This involves the development and implementation of policies and procedures to ensure that the teachers and the staff provides education. That means quality education and services which effectively meet the needs of their students, or our students, consistent with the goals and objectives that we are in. In every school, we have different objectives. Of course, the common denominator is always quality education and quality service. Whether it's a private school or a public school, it's very common. Performance management is a shared commitment. Remember the word commitment. When we commit, we have to do it whether we like it or not. We have to do it by heart, or we have to do it with willingness and motivation. So a high performance, and it helps to focus attention on more effective teaching and monitoring to raise our objectives, our vision and mission, or goals of our school. An effective performance management system should encompass many personnel management activities. These would include the recruitment and retention of teachers and employees. So, as in our case, in my teachings in a private school, so we hire teachers if they are already inefficient. They're not interested. Of course, we hire new teachers anytime, and then we retain the others who are capable of doing their work still wholeheartedly and according to the objectives and the goals of our school. So, whatever organization we belong to, we always have that notion that we must have quality products, as in businesses, quality teaching, as in schools, so that we can cater to a better service for our clients or students. That's why the recruiting and the retention of teachers and employees in an organization is very much or highly respected or very much taken care of uh, taken care of in a very well mannered way. The education sector has embraced performance management and performance related pay. It contemplates the transfer and adaptation of performance management by the public sector as an adult and an audit mechanism for improving the performance and the productivity of public services. So before, only the business world has this performance related activities or performance management. But later on, the education sector or the we in the education environment has adopted this performance because we also need this because we also cater to people. The introduction of performance management in education has not been without controversy, particularly since it can be perceived as a form of managerial control over professional work. Yes, many of us are thinking, or were thinking, or are thinking still, maybe right now is still true today, that whenever our managers or school heads try to check us by surprise or every day or anytime they want to, we have that negative notion. Oh, what what a what, how do you call this one? What a day for me! I have been observed by my school head. What happens or what is the meaning of this or whatsoever? But actually, deep down, it is just the task of our school heads whether we are in accordance with the objectives and the goals of the school, or whether our lessons are within that week or whatsoever, or whether we are the students are with us, no? So it's just a checking point or inspecting way. The school has inspecting us rather in a way that we do not go out of the shell. Okay. So that's all for my report today.
A pleasant day to you, Professor Genesis Rojas, and to my fellow classmates. Today I'm going to discuss in human resource management my topic in network performance and coordination in the management as a management function. I also discuss or report about performance improvement as well as performance assessment. I had borrowed an idea from Judith Germain, who is a principal consultant of Seeing Solutions. She says that why it's just as important for HR function to network as it is for any other department. To most internal HR professionals, the term networking is assumed to relate to the activity of external consultants who need to network to find work. So external consultants, these are people, someone external to the organization who can be contracted to conduct the evaluation. Sometimes they develop the evaluation design, and sometimes they implement the design outlined in the terms of reference. So they bring new ideas from their vast experiences to the client, to the organization. So it's not something that internals think they do or indeed need to do. According to Germain, this is a dangerous assumption, especially in a recession where ability to perform your role well is underlying expectation of competency. So this is your knowledge and skills. So internal consultant or professionals need to be far more than just competent. So they have to go beyond that. to build and nurture relationships. So when we talk about relationships as a manager to employee, you have to be kind and understandable, and of course willing to know the issue or the problem that arise, and have advocates. A manager has as in networking, they must have an advocates, meaning identify the costs and the policies, and then you also build reputation. You also build reputation and credibility. So reputation is your character, your general behavior, and credibility is that you can be trusted and you can be believed in by your organization. You demonstrate openness. So in networking, network performance, you demonstrate openness. That is, you are subject for correction, willing to be willing to learn, and trust, and having fantastic interpersonal skills. So if we talk about interpersonal skills, which is a must in network performance, you need to be flexible in being friendly and being courteous to others. It's a shame that when it's shame then that one of the reasons that HR is deemed not credible is because it can fail miserably in its ability to network. Technical competency is hardly ever the issue. So therefore, network, it interacts with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. Now let's have what we call coordination management. Coordination, it is the function of management which ensures the difference and groups work in sync. So there is a synchronous relationship, synchronous understanding among different heads, different ideas, and different departments. Therefore, there is unity of action. So there is one action to be executed among the employees, groups, and departments. It also brings harmony. So harmony meaning understanding again, and then there is peace of mind. Okay, in order to carry out the different tasks and activities to achieve the organization's objectives efficiently. So there is efficient and there is achievements if we work harmoniously. Okay. We also have here the 7 I would like to add the benefits of networking. For the benefits of the networking, there are a number of reasons why HR professionals should network within their organization. Number one, this is important in network. Let's go back to the networking performance. We have increased ability to do your job well. So that's the benefits of network performance. So if you are able to network yourselves, to interact with others, the other companies, and other organizations, you can embrace new ideas and will have a good job or job well done. Second, we have the ability to build reputation and credibility. So I have mentioned a while ago that reputation is about the character and the behavior, and your credibility is that you can be trusted by the manager, the management. And then third is gather advocates. This is to the policies, because from time to time, as the time changes, there must have a policies to be considered. And last is to facilitate trust. So to facilitate trust, you are confident that being a manager, you want your subordinate to work honestly. So there must have a less supervisions. So like in the depth ed, as a teacher, we work in the classroom without the supervision, direct supervision of our principal. We teach the children with dedication and with passion. Okay. Now let's go back to coordination management. We have this what we call 7 things on how to improve team coordination as a manager. Number 1, have a roadmap organization's goals. So just like in the depth ed, we have the vision and mission. So our roadmap means the vision and mission. What are we and how are we going to go to? So how far are we and what do we want in the near future? Second, define individual rules with the organization. Within the organization, that is, of course, in the depth ed, you have what we call coordinatorship. There is an expertise. There is somebody who is assigned to the certain fields, because not all teachers have the same skills, and all teachers have its what we call mastery or talents to be recognized. Third, we have planning and communication. So that's why we have the what we call the school improvement plan or SIP, and then communication, of course. So when you have the SIP, the school improvement plan, you communicate to the stakeholders for the improvement. How can they help our school in the community, such as the barangay? You can communicate to them to ask for help. 4 is the invest in project management tools. So project management tools are, of course, innovation, acquiring new skills on the part of the teacher, and as a manager, you also have to give the knowledge that you have acquired also in your supervisors. 5, we have to communicate openly with your organization. So there is what we call open forum, meetings, assemblies. So this is the moment where we can open our ideas and suggestions. 6, we have make work more fun. So as a manager, to coordinate management function, there must have a fun, meaning you enjoy working with them, they're happy, they're satisfied. And last is giving feedback and rewards. So to give feedback is important because that's when we see the weaknesses of the teacher or an employee or part of the organization that he is showing insufficient skills, insufficient job, so inefficient rather. And then if that employee is have been acknowledged and informed the kind of weaknesses or the feedback that he should have, that's the time wherein you can find solutions, identify things on how to work out on it. And next one, part of the giving feedbacks is the reward. So if you are a manager who sees your employee, your subordinates, that he worked dedicated to his job, loyal, very passionate, and he has exemplified good performance, then that's the time that we will reward him by means of promotions or incentives. Okay. Next one is the performance improvement. What is this performance improvement? Performance improvement is a strategy under the umbrella of performance management. So it belongs to the performance management. So when you manage the issue, you have to consider the improvement. There must have an improvement. Okay, so time to time, as months, a year go by, our institution must be managed properly in such a way that it should improve so that it can achieve better performance and growth. So we want to expand, we want to grow, and we have to establish, like in the depth, we want to establish quality education. So that's the moment that the manager, the system, the bureaucracy will find ways on how to improve. Okay. What is performance improvement process? Performance improvement process is defined as any action taken by management to improve satisfactory professional staff member performance. Each action in the performance improvement process documented in the performance improvement plan. So that's why we are recorded every year, such as what we call this one, the IPCRF, and the latest one is the LDM. So there are documents, portfolio to be submitted, and of course your behavior, your attendance. Those are facts, those are figures that is part of the performance improvement plan. So that's also the basis wherein you will be promoted, you will be given, we will be rating, so that you will someday you will be rewarded and receive compensation of such as bonus. And next one is the performance assessment. Performance assessment, also known as alternative or authentic assessment, is a form of testing that requires an employee to perform a task rather than select an answer from a ready-made list. So that's why when we work, we are actually judged according to the performance, to the quality of students that we, as a teacher, the quality of students and the quality of school that we have, quality of the education in the school that we serve. So it's not about testing you to be intelligent, but it is a test of services or work. Okay. The performance appraisal is the process of assessing, so that is to test your employee performance by way of comparing present performance. So you are compared from the previous to the other year, so that they will find out if you are really improving, going up in the ladder of what we call promotional rankings. So with already established standards, there is a standard being set. That's why in the government, there is what we call VS, very satisfactory, outstanding, satisfactory, needs improvement. So those are the rankings or the remarks in your assessment. Okay, so the established standards which have been already communicated to employees, subsequently providing feedback to employees about their performance. So from the principal down to the master teacher will go over, see the teachers among the grade in elementary. For example, in elementary, they will evaluate them, how they teach, how they submit papers, and how they perform as a teacher. So the performance level for the purpose of improving their institution or company or organization, that's the most important contribution why we have or why we conduct performance assessment every year or yearly in the Department of Education or any company or organization. So they conduct this performance assessment. Okay, that will be all for my topic. Again, it's about network performance, coordination as a function of management, performance improvement, and performance assessment. Thank you, classmates. Thank you, sir, Genesis Rojas, for the opportunity that you give me to have this report. Thank you, and God bless.
And these are my references. And thank you very much for listening. God bless and stay safe, everyone.
Good morning, classmates. Good morning, Sir Tahoy. I'm Jinkisi Alegria. I am tasked to discuss about interorganizational performance and business process management in collaborative networks. In the global economy, collaboration is no longer an option, but a requirement for the organization that want to achieve and maintain the competitive advantage in the market. The society based on knowledge and innovation, globalization and increased competition are the stimulating factors for switching from a traditional organization to an extended organization and further to the organization connected into a collaborative network. The organization networks have many advantages but also face challenges and problems mainly linked to the complexity of the collaborative environment. One of the main challenges of organization network is raised by the inter-organization processes. The complexity of these collaborative processes makes them difficult to model and represent them in a form that can be understood by electronic computing systems. Collaborative processes, performance representation, automation, and management require a good understanding of collaboration impact on business processes. What is collaborative practices? Collaborative practices have various shapes, from stable collaborative networks to dynamic networks or occasional collaboration, like collaboratively connected organization and virtual business ecosystems. C&O is a logical, provisional, and dynamic aggregation of heterogeneous and autonomous units like companies, people, government, institutions, and many more that have various competencies and efficiently combine and coordinate collective resources for a given time in order to achieve a common goal. Okay, there are main characteristics of collaborative processes. First, we have several independent identities. Collaborative processes involve several independent entities like organizations, individual institutions, and many more that bring specific competencies and play specific roles. The independent entities exchange resources and perform activities collaboratively in order to achieve the process goal. Second, we have governance among involved parties. The governance establishes the executive responsibility for management and quality of the result produced by the collaborative processes. Several workflow engines. The collaborative process is not performed by a single centralized workflow engine. Instead, there are several engines that collaborate. The fourth, internal security of information. A flexible mechanism of hiding the information is required in order to ensure the security of internal processes. The information provided in an inter-organizational process must not provide and reveal the inner workings of any partner. And the fourth, several decision makers. A collaborative process requires several participants that get involved, discuss, iterate, and decide before going to the next activity or stage of the business process. Six is the several collaborative activities, which is a collaborative process involves more than one collaborative activity. Together, they lead to achieving a coherent collaborative goal. 7. The trust between partners. This is so important. In C&O involves the management of trust between partners to promote trust relations, including the evaluation of trust levels of the members and between members in order to successfully perform the collaborative processes. 8. The collaboration terms. The collaboration agreement within a C&O establishes the terms or conditions for collaboration between participants, as well as the policy for managing this collaboration for the duration of the C&O. 9. Secure communication. This is again an important. Communication in collaborative business processes must be secure by means of special software or hardware functional configurations. Collaborative actions or activities performed in a certain order to achieve a collaborative object. This is showed in Figure 1. In a collaborative process, the inputs, the outputs, and the resources belong to entities involved in collaborative actions. Okay, this is the Figure 1 definition of collaborative process. So inside in the circle, the activity, and it was surrounded by collaborative resources, input collaborative content, collaborative events, collaborative process, collaborative entities, collaborative outputs, and collaborative goal. Next is classification of collaborative processes. We have regarding the implementation of execution control. The coordination of a business process involves the execution of a business process made up of activities that takes place in several organizations, but a single organization controls everything. Next, the cooperation in a business process means the execution of a business process made up of activities that take place in several organizations, each one controlling only the activities it performs. B. Regarding the creation of collaborative process, plan collaborative and ad hoc interorganizational performance and business process. So in plan collaborative processes are defined a priori. This class of processes involves execution according to the process definitions and a timetable of actions which varies characteristics and perhaps various life cycles time-wise. And second, the ad hoc interorganizational performance business process management in collaborative networks or dynamical processes are executed according to a process definition recorded during the process execution itself. C. Regarding the level of access to the project. So, there are three processes: a private business process, a public business process, and an abstract processes. So what is here in a private business process? It described inside the company and cannot be viewed by external partners, and in the public business process is a partial image of a private process with hidden elements and a control flow that can be modified as needed. A public process allows visualization or transmission of a part of the private process that is relevant for interaction with other partners. And in the abstract processes are abstract views or public processes that only have input and output operations. Next, regarding the level of automation, we have here the application integration, partially automated manual processes. So in application, integration allows for fully automated collaborative business processes. The new technology as well as the existence of service-oriented architecture allows tasks to be carried out as services. And in the partially automated, processes include both automated and manual activities. This requires a user interface that allows capturing the user knowledge in order to control and improve the processes. And here in the manual processes, these are performed manually by the participants. briefly regarding the structuring level. So, in a structuring level, there are three processes: structured processes, unstructured processes, and semi-structured processes. In the structured processes are rigorously defined with complete and final models. And in the unstructured processes depend on the events that occur and the content and knowledge involved. Unstructured processes involve activities based on knowledge where many of the important steps are performed individually or in collaboration, leading processes and that rely heavily on knowledge, those being hard to analyze and structure. So in semi-structured processes, it include both a structured and an unstructured part depending on exceptions. So let us proceed to the approaches regarding collaborative process implementation and management. Here, the allocation of resources and performance between business partners, establishing responsibilities for the financial and materials exchange relations, as well as data and information exchange through interfaces, must plan collaboratively. All this lead to an increased need for a business process management solution in order to remain competitive in the global business environment. Or organizations must expand process management from inter-organizational level to inter-organization. Then the collaboration here is a natural result of interaction between persons and cognitive actions. And most of the times, this happens ad hoc and dynamically. Unlike BPM, these do not have a fixed value or predetermined return of investments ROI. Results are not fully predictable, but the improvements often come from increased efficiency. Here, the innovation is the result of efficient collaboration, and if events are repeatable, innovation must be transformed into a process. And then the BPM, according to Galimi and McGovern 2004, supports business processes using methods, techniques, and software design, create, control, and analyze operational processes involving humans, organization, application, documents, and other sources of information. Most of the times, BPM represents as an integrated set of instruments that provide a closed system for business optimization. And this is a figure two components of a business process. So in the business process, we have here the process model, and there is the process, and then go through the workflow model to the workflow. And then here, the modeling business process or interorganizational level faces various challenges like CNO participants employing different languages or approaches for modeling, interoperability, different culture, different views of information depending on participants' rules, process synchronization, process competition, heterogeneous application environments in a partner organization. And also, there are several languages for modeling business process like diagrams, Petronet, IDEFO, which is ICOM definition for function modeling, and ICOM means integrated computer aided manufacturing. PCD is a process chain diagram from ARIS UML activity diagram or UML unified modeling language, and BPMN business process model and notation. The purpose of BPMN is to provide an explicit notation, easy to use and understand by businessmen that create, implement, or monitor processes. Those BPMN closes the gap between design and implementation of processes. While BPMN is used to model the business process for its execution, BPL means business process execution language may be employed, and this is shown in figure 3. BPMN may be converted to BPEL and back. Besides, the mapping between BPMN and BPEL, wherein the BPEL process must be connected to business services. A business service is a logical representation of a business activity. Service-oriented architecture allows the technical implementation of business processes in organization. And this is the figure 3 collaborative business process in SOA. So in collaborative business process, it was connected to private process OML, and this private process OML is connected to public process. And this public process PCD is connected to public process. Then the public process UML under is the business services, which is connected to BPL to business service SOE under the private process or PCD. Okay, the service-oriented architecture model allows the integration of existing processes and new processes. According to Suzy, a collaborative process model is BPMN oriented and based on SOA. CPPM along with service-oriented architecture allow dynamic interaction between organization and capitalization of global market opportunities. So this is a table aspect of collaborative processes that can be measured. Success factors, knowledge creation. Example, knowledge is created through interactions between network partners and learning. ICT provides the support for information and idea exchange in collaborative business processes. So the factor value is Y1. Then that's sharing that knowledge and information. F2, the frequency or amount of knowledge information exchange between partners. Sharing the knowledge depends on the type of knowledge, tacit or explicit, and the communication environment. The factor value is Y2. And then in the capitalization of knowledge, F3, examples of this is number of new products, services, patents, business plans, or other results produced through transformation or capitalization of ideas or knowledge. The value factor is Y3. And then the innovation A4 examples, number of innovative products, models, trains produced through collaboration between network partners, which is the factor value is Y4. And then trust, F5. Example of this is the frequency of meetings where correct, trustworthy data and information is provided by the involved parties. The factor value is Y5. And the next, the risk or F6. Example of this is business risk is shared between network partners according to collaboration contracts. The rest to loss control over data exchange through the network is higher. Number of attacks against communication systems, frequency of attacks or data loss. So the factor value of this is Y6. 6. Quality of, where in the examples how will conflicts between partners are. The factor value is Y7. And then the collaborative process conflict, F7 examples, practices and policies for preventing and solving conflicts, provision of specialized personnel for conflict negotiation and solving, number of conflicts or complaints, the time to solve them. Next, success factors, coordination of collaborative activities or F8. The example of this is the number of articles, contract agreements on which collaborative activity coordination relies on. Number of plans or procedures for proactive problem solving. Factor value is Y8. Next is the communication quality or F9. Examples is the frequency of problems, misunderstanding due to different culture, insufficient common language skills, different ways of thinking, different value system. Factor value is Y9. Next is the interoperability F10. Example is interoperability can be measured at business level, ICT level, knowledge level, which is a competency, skills, and knowledge and services. Measure of ability to exchange data or information or knowledge between network partners. The factor value is Y10. Next is the scalability or F11. Examples are the possibility to adapt the process to new requirements. For example, adaptation to lower or higher number of partners, adaptation of functionality to other goals. The factor value is Y11. Transparency F12 example is a poll may be used to evaluate the transparency of decision, performance, data, and processes for network partners. This is Y12. Okay, this is the formula in solving where y1 factor I weight, then the 4I initial value factor I, pi weight of shared resources allocated for collaborative process inputs, and this is the error in evaluation of factor I performance. So the evaluation of collaborative processes performance involves a mathematical models as well as the definition of a specific collaborative metric. Thus, considering table 1, we may view yi as a value achieved through collaboration for factor I. In the context of the mathematical model, the success factors yi from table 1 are in the fact outputs, direct result of the collaborative activity or collaboration outputs. Because the control and evaluation are the main functions of management activity, the contribution of each participant to the collaborative process constitute inputs or collaboration inputs in the mathematical model. Assuming that the resources made available for the collaborative processes by each participant are IT infrastructure, organizational culture, marketing policies, human capital, and finances. The inputs used to model the collaborative processes are presented in figure 4. Okay, this is a figure 4 hierarchical structure of inputs in collaborative process. So, this is the stakeholder satisfaction, and under that is the IT infrastructure, organizational culture, marketing politics, human resource, and financial resource. And in the IT infrastructure, under is hardware, software, and governance. And in the organizational culture, under is the goals, models, informational system. And in the marketing politics, under is the customer relationship, distribution channels, and promotions. And in human resource, the experience, skills, and training. And in the financial resource, fixed assets, current assets, and cash flows. So these are the organization 1 to organization N. Okay, table 2 is the collaborative processes participation, shares, halimbawa. Example, human factor, human capital, I1, organizational culture, I2, and share is 35, the human capital in the organizational culture, 15. So, according to Jacqueline et al. 2004, answer is 50. Then the economic process, marketing is I3, the finance is I4, and then the marketing share is 10, and the finance is 20, the total of 30. And in technology, IT infrastructure, I5, the share is 20 and the total is 20, and the overall total is 100. Okay, in the table 3, association between success factors and input. So this is it. If this initial value of factor I is in fact input, I1I, then equation 1 becomes REI equals I equals 1, then WI for I plus phi I EI equals N under I equals 1, then WI the that I 1I plus pi I and EI. Considering the total influence of an external environment introduced in the era of evaluation factor, I performance as C equals and the weights associated to the inputs in the table 2 we have this one, where in this condition the result defined for the collaboration will be table 1. So this is how to compute it. Analyzing the univocal relation presented in table 3, we will have list 1, and then considering the evaluation of collaborative processes to the zero-sum games, and this is the formula, and applying the fundamental management principle of profit maximization, the mathematical model for evaluation of collaborative processes becomes this one. Okay, and that's all for today. Thank you for listening.